Aloha and welcome to The Bottom Line. I'm Amber Millsap, Community Relations Officer with Hawaii Central Federal Credit Union. And today I have with me Tim Ashcraft of the Hawaii Credit Union League. He is the president and CEO there. We're going to talk a little bit about credit unions and what we do in Hawaii and what the league does. But before we jump into all of that, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know your background is in economics and you've been in the industry for 30 years.
A little over 30 years, but I'm my undergraduate degree in economics from Western Washington University in beautiful Bellingham, Washington, hence my beautiful state of Washington tan that I rock. But yeah, I was blessed to go to school there. Met a beautiful woman, married way above my pay grade, and she happened to be from beautiful Hilo, Hawaii, and that's how I ended up in our beautiful state. But yeah, my degree is in economics. I've been in banking for over 30 years. I started as a teller, and one of the things I like to share with the audience and even with our other credit union Ohana is that it's the most important job in credit union land. You have the most power to make such a big difference in someone's day. And I always encourage those that are starting in the industry, it's a great place to start. And it gave me the ground, the foundation, or laid the foundation to where I wanted to be. So I welcome that opportunity, and I think it's a great experience and allowed me to, when I did move to Hawaii, to be able to adapt and talk to people of all ages, different nationalities or ethnic or culture. It just blended real well.
I think you kind of already answered one of my questions, but maybe to elaborate a little bit more, was there any one defining moment of your career that just told you you had found your niche?
I think that moment was, again, when I first moved to Hawaii, I started working at Bank of Hawaii. And when I was talking about culture and values, I'm not knocking any of the banks or anything, but when I found the opportunity to work at Hawaii Community Federal Credit Union way back in 1997, it matched my personality. But in terms of the moment, and again, I think I was new to the island, the credit union management at the time. I think they saw something in me, and they wanted to see what I was all about. So they had me work in a part of the island called North Kohala, and that's Kapa'auhavi area. It's on the north tip of the island, and I fell in love with it. It's a plantation community, roughly around 5,000, 6,000 residents in the area. But once you get a taste of working in a community like that is so strong, so community-oriented, it touches your heart. And once you work in this business, in the credit union world, and it touches your heart, working in the credit union became a calling. And I'll never forget that moment. And even today, even when I do go to island, I always tell that story because that's what draws you in. And that's what makes credit unions so special, that ability to help others. And especially in a rural community like that, there's no other financial institution within 20 plus miles. And you have that ability to do that.
I saw something on the league's website about, was it a reality fair that was done in was it North Kohala area?
Yeah, it was just recently done in Kohala High School. Go Cowboys. They're back-to-back boys Division II state champs, so I want to give them a shout out. But yeah, Hawaii Community Federal Credit Union hosted a reality fair at Kohala High School. Again, it's a great way to give back. One of the benefits of some of our credit unions have throughout the state, but at least I know with Hawaii Community and a couple others on the Big Island, is that they do sponsor student credit unions. And in that particular case, Kohala High School does have their own student credit union. So it paired nicely with that program along with the reality fair to reinforce financial literacy.
And again, you are the president and CEO of the Hawaii Credit Union League. Can you tell us a little bit about what the league does?
Education and training. We do provide much needed education and training services in terms of compliance. Could be HR related, could be lending compliance, could be operations, could be member service. There's a variety of education and training programs that we're able to offer our credit unions throughout the entire state. And we've been very successful recently with our lending and operations compliance schools because we are able to do them virtually, and that allows for much greater participation at a reduced cost for our member credit unions. The other item that the Hawaii Credit Union League is strong with is in advocacy. Credit union advocacy on behalf of our member credit unions is critical. We are all federal credit unions in the state of Hawaii. So what happens in Washington, D.C. has a direct impact upon our member credit unions here in Hawaii. Hawaii being a small state, we have 4 members of Congress, and we work real hard to have a great conversation and relationship with them and to remind them of all the great things credit unions do to make our communities strong.
A lot of people tend to confuse credit unions with banks. Can you tell us what the major differences are between credit unions and banks?
Yeah, it is our structure. Credit unions are not-for-profit financial cooperatives. We are member-owned. Our board of directors are volunteers. They're members of the credit union. As compared to our bank friends, again, they are a for-profit entity. They make decisions for the benefit of their shareholders. Credit unions make decisions and to benefit our member owners. So the profits that the credit union drives are given back to our members in the form of higher dividends on deposit accounts and lower loan rates on lending products and services. So you have that direct member benefit at a credit union where you don't really see that per se at our friends at the banking institutions.
And who can join a credit union?
That's a fun question because it depends on the charter, but credit unions have a variety of charters. For example, a community charter is that anyone that lives, works, worships, goes to school, or volunteers in a certain geographic area can join, or could be by zip code. For example, McBride Federal Credit Union on Kauai. You have to live in LA on Kauai to join. We have resources at the Hawaii Credit Union League on our website as far as a list of credit unions in your area that you could join.
Getting back to our question about the differences between banks and credit unions, what sorts of products and services do credit unions offer?
Well, the products and services that the banks and credit unions offer are very similar. But how I would phrase it is that credit unions do it at a reduced cost. Because again, our motive is value to our member. So for example, even if you are on the loan side, even if you could be credit challenged, our rates for that are generally speaking much less than banks or finance companies that do offer similar services. But in terms of checking, savings, debit card, credit cards, auto loans, mortgage loans, home equity lines of credit, most of our credit unions offer all those basic services that we need, including remote deposit capture and mobile banking. As we all know, we are dependent on our phones for just about everything, and mobile banking is another critical need that our credit unions can also support.
Yeah, and I can speak to that. We offer video banking at Hawaii Central Federal Credit Union. I think that's a newer kind of offering here in the state, but I can definitely speak to that we do offer basically everything. It's been said that credit unions are small and for low income, a low income population. What would you say to that?
Well, that's one of the myths of credit unions that is out there in the public, that you have to have if you're making only so much money, then you can be part of a credit union. And the cool part with a credit union is that it's collaborative. It's a community, and it's one member, one vote. It doesn't matter if you have $100,000 in your account or $50 in your account. You each have one vote. It's very collaborative. That's again the appeal to me, is that I'm doing my financial services or banking in a place that's helping my community, and that is the unique piece that the credit unions have to offer. And that's a message that I'm trying to amplify, the credit union difference and why you should join. Our credit unions do amazing work, and your deposit dollars stay in the community. They don't go to a mainland financial institution. Everything, your dollar stays here, and where else would I want to do that?
Keeping it local. Yeah.
Keeping it local, and save better, and save better, save better at a credit union.
What would you say to people who might question whether their funds are safe at a credit union?
It is a common question because everybody, they hear the advertising, oh, FDIC insured. Credit unions are also insured up to $250,000, just like our banking friends with the NCUA or the National Credit Union Administration. So yes, to answer your question, your funds at credit unions are secured. Just looking at our third quarter statistics in third quarter 2024, the capital ratio for Hawaii's credit unions are 10.87%. The capital ratio rate to be considered well capitalized is 7%. As you can see, that greatly exceeds that number. Our credit unions are safe and they're sound and ready to move forward in the future.
I wanted to just touch on the credit union movement philosophy of people helping people and just talk about what that means to you.
Well, people helping people is the heart of what we do. As I mentioned, being able to work with a member one-on-one and seeing the difference that it makes, it's powerful. I've been in the business long enough now where I've helped people with a cakey first birthday party, graduations, weddings, funerals. You get to see the whole life cycle. And there's not very many industries out there where you can actually be a participant of that. And to me, the people helping people is coming together in times of trouble. For example, even with the wildfires in Lahaina, the credit unions rallied. And I believe between credit unions, not only in Hawaii, but also nationwide, and the Federal Home Loan Bank of Des Moines, they contribute over $1.4 million in wildfire relief funds. I think that's a powerful message. That just wasn't here. That was from credit unions as far as away as Maine. That's an incredible story.
With our history here in Hawaii, I mean, you talked a lot about it, sugar, pineapple. Credit unions hold a special place in Hawaii's history. Can you speak to that at all?
Sure. It's fun seeing the history of Hawaii and also seeing the history of the credit union space, especially in terms of the plantation communities, because we can see on the island of Kauai, there were 10 pineapple farmers that created a credit union there, which then became Kauai Community Federal Credit Union, which is now Gather Federal Credit Union. On Maui, there was what became Valley Isle Federal Credit Union, started as a sugar plantation credit union. Maui Land and Pine, even on the Big Island at Hawaii Community Federal Credit Union, they were started by coffee farmers. So the plantation community and the credit union value systems go hand in hand. There's a Japanese term, tanomoshi, which is, again, the bundling of funds to help a neighbor. That also, I think, resonated in why credit unions were able to grow so strong and develop strong roots in the credit union in those communities.
I guess it begs the question, why was there a need for credit unions if we had banks?
Yeah. Again, but look at the timing when the credit unions were founded. The Federal Credit Union Act was signed in 1934. What was happening then? Yeah, it was the Great Depression. Banks were not lending. Everybody was having difficulty getting from A to B, or at that time being able to plant crops so they can feed their families. So in terms of accessibility to credit, that was one of the fundamental reasons credit unions were founded. It's just so, again, members pooling the resources to help their neighbor. So the credit union, think about that first word, credit. That was a critical aspect of why they were founded. Not just also to encourage thrift and savings, but to help our neighbors.
Well, I know if it wasn't for a credit union, I wouldn't be a homeowner, and I think I may have shared it with you, but I shared it with Lori, who also works with you. As a single mother, I would have never been able to do that, but as a member of a credit union, the wonderful loan programs that have been made available to me through my credit union was how I was able to become a homeowner 3 times over now. So it's like, I never thought that growing up, actually in a plantation town on Molokai myself, dirt poor, single mom, and I never thought that would be possible as a single mother myself then.
You know, one of my favorite parts of working in the credit union movement is being a loan officer and being in touch and hearing those stories, because that is it is common. It's like, and the credit unions provide a space where you can actually talk to someone about it too. You're not on the, you don't have to be on phone waiting and, hitting 1 for this or 3 for that or 0 for the operator. You can actually reach out and touch someone in terms of speaking with someone. And that allows you to develop that relationship where, as you said, you're able to buy your first home, and then to the next item, and to the next item. And same thing in working with in the plantation communities I did. I was able to help someone with their first car loan, which eventually led to their first house loan, which eventually led to another important life event. And it's, as I said, I keep going back to the life cycle. And you can use those experiences when you to help someone, to help others in a similar position.
It looks like we have a little bit more time. If there's any kind of final thoughts you want to leave us with today, we'd like to just let you take the floor here.
Okay. No, I appreciate the opportunity. I love speaking about credit unions. I know what a big difference credit unions make in the lives of our members. The credit union philosophy of people helping people is real. And the one cool thing with that, not just in the state of Hawaii, but our on the mainland, that people helping people is always stated in every meeting that I've been in, especially being new as the president and CEO of the Hawaii Credit Union League. I'm able to talk with other league presidents across the country, and that's almost always the first item they say. How does this benefit the member? And to me, that just continues to resonate with me almost 30 years later, how powerful that is. And as the environment changes in terms of demand for products and services, just remembering that one core philosophy that drives an entire movement, and it is a movement, it's powerful. And I wish more and more of our residents in our beautiful state would take advantage of the opportunities that credit unions have for them, because I really believe firmly that would make a difference in their life.
Thank you so much for being with us today, Tim.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, well, it's an honor for us, and I just want to thank our viewers at home for joining us for another episode of The Bottom Line. And with that, I'd like to say aloha, mahalo e na hui hou.